Welcome everyone to another episode of Outcast Podcast. Last week we had Las Vegas. It was a pretty good race, a lot of side by side racing going on there. Everyone seemed pretty equal, and we actually just got done running a road course at Indy today. That was a rough race. I definitely am not a road racer by any means.
Oh, neither am I, and that was rough. I'm glad
So
that one's out of our way.
I am definitely glad that one's over. However, back to the podcast. This week we have a guest and one of our sponsors from RT3 Designs, Rob Tuisku.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Rob?
That,
So go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, man, that race was not fun.
No, not at all, not at all. So Rob, you want to tell us a little bit about the RT3 Designs and what you do there?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I kind of grew up in a construction family, stuff like that, and I've always had a passion for building, residential and just construction in general. And I came into this job uh, about 8 years ago, where I worked for a wall panel and truss manufacturing plant, and I got really excited about their engineering software they use and stuff like that, and kind of taught myself how to use it. And unfortunately, because I'm way too good at dispatching trucks and driving trucks, they don't want me to do any design work for them. So it kind of came about as a hobby, and just kind of something to do in my free time. And kind of got a little bit bigger than I expected it to. And basically, what I do is architectural design. Um, I mean, whatever an architect does, I do it, just without a license and at half the cost. So
So with that being said, do you do like larger designs or smaller designs, like housing, like design, like architect a house, or kind of like what kind of designs do you do?
I do a little bit of everything. A lot of guys will approach me that they just want to add a patio to their house, or a garage, something simple, additions. And I've done up to, I think the biggest house I've done was about 4,500 square foot for a guy
Oh
down in
wow.
Virginia. Yeah, that's a big one.
So you have to be really familiar with like code and stuff.
Yes.
So is it, well, I guess you kind of do it all over. So you have to be familiar with code in
Yep.
all the states, I guess. That's a
Well,
lot to know.
you got the standard, the American Building Association. They have their standard set of code, and you can pretty much follow that pretty much all the way through. I'm working with a guy out of Mississippi right now. I'm working on 14 homes for him, and he's right on the Gulf Coast. So it's a little bit different. I'm not used to working with hurricane code. Um,
Oh, yeah,
Up here
yeah.
in Michigan, everything's on basements or crawl spaces,
Right.
and they're all slabs. So it's a little different than I'm used to, but it's really fun. It's
Yeah,
real
that
different.
kind of
So
that kind of answers my next question. Was like, do you do just for your area or all over the country on the
The
interweb,
question
like
is
worldwide, man.
worldwide?
the question is if your buddy Al Reed called you from Ireland and needed tree uh things done for him, could your business do that?
I could do that. Yeah. The biggest issue for me to do that would be the conversions in, over to the metric system.
Yeah.
But fortunately, the software I use is just a click of a button, and I could do everything with what I'm familiar in, and then hit a button, and he'll be able to read everything.
What's the program called? I'm trying to think of what I've seen
So
before.
when I was in high school, we used something called C++ or something like that.
So real similar. The program I use is based off of AutoCAD. It's called
AutoCAD.
SoftPlan.
That's what I was thinking about. AutoCAD.
Yep.
I've seen it. I don't know how to use it, but
AutoCAD is quite daunting. I've downloaded a trial of it, and I mean, the cost of it is outrageous. It's something like $300-400 a month for a seat, and it's just way too advanced for me right now. The program I use, I started with SketchUp, free program,
oh wow.
and I upgraded to SketchUp Pro, which ended up costing a little bit of money. But the problem with it is that it's for designing houses. It's just not really the best software to use. It's pretty much you if you want to put a wall in or a window in, I mean, you have to draw the entire wall or the entire window, versus the AutoCAD softwares. I mean, you have a library of windows you can pull from, and you have a library of different wall sizes you can pull from and stuff like that. So, I mean, really, with the program I use, SoftPlan, it's I mean, if you want a 2x6 brick wall, I just click the drop down and pick a 2x6 brick wall and start dragging lines all over the place, you know.
Oh wow.
So, where do you see yourself and RT3 Designs in, say, like 5 years? Like, what do you want to be designing?
You know, hopefully I'm working with some more builders. Like right now I'm doing a lot of they call them just kind of stock plans. So I mean, if you walk into, you know, a major builder, say like Pulte, everybody knows Pulte. You walk into Pulte's office and they basically have a book of houses you can choose from. You know, for that particular subdivision, they might have 7 to 10 different house designs that you can do, and you know, just doing the base models of them, I get that creative freedom with it, and then, you know, either they like it or they don't. And I think what's attracting my southern clients right now is the difference in architectural style between what we have up in the northern U.S. versus what they do in the southern U.S. I can say probably of the 4 or 5 that I've finished for the guy so far, he loves them all, you know, and it's far different from what they do down there.
Yeah, so I was electrician for many years before I got into the railroad business, and I noticed, from Virginia to Georgia, it's crazy the difference of how everything's done.
Yeah.
As far as, going into a house and some of the I don't know what you call them, but the joist holders and everything is just different.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I can take it back to that big house I did for the guy in Virginia. It was on a crawl space, which I'm familiar with the crawl space, but in Michigan, you know, just about everything we do, we're supporting the house on a steel I-beam. And I drew it for him, and he liked everything except the steel I-beam in it. And, you know, he wanted, like 2x10 beams or something like that, which is way different. And
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, to me, a house that size and that heavy, the engineer approved it, but I mean, I wouldn't feel comfortable with it.
Now, you may have already said it, but did you go to school to learn how to do the programming, or is it
No.
something you
Not
picked
at
it
all.
up and kind of learned as you went? And
100%
that's
self-taught.
awesome. That's
Even
awesome.
even with the software that they use at work, I thought I was gonna, be like proactive, and teach myself the software and then go to my boss and say, "Hey, look, man, I can do this," and he
Are
just
you
kind of laughed me off.
are you still driving trucks too, or are you
I
trying to get to where you're doing this full time?
I do drive here and there to fill in for drivers. My main job right now is shipping manager, so I've got 5 drivers under me, and I pretty much dispatch them throughout Southeast Michigan, and we're starting to ship into Indiana and stuff like that now.
So the question is, and this is kind of a funny thing. Well, I think it's kind of funny. But would you let Wayne Garland drive one of the 18 wheelers that go out of your plant?
You know,
So Dad
I
did drive
had to. I
trucks for
had.
like 5 or
Oh
6
shoot!
years.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah, him and
true.
I talked
Dang
about that
it!
quite a bit.
I thought I was getting a good one.
Yeah, I
There.
mean, I pride myself on being a very good truck driver, and I mean, how I drive a stock car. I mean, would you want me to drive a semi truck?
Well, I think driving virtually, knowing that something's not actually getting damaged compared
Right.
to driving in real life is different.
Yeah, it's far different. One thing I've noticed with it is like a lot of people come to the career thinking that it's the answers to all their problems, and I mean, really, if that's your outlook on being a truck driver, you just need to get the hell out of there. It's
Right.
You really got to love it. You got to love driving something that big. In my opinion, at least.
My
To me,
dad.
there's nothing cooler than being the biggest thing on the road. So
My dad drove a tractor trailer hauling lumber for about, I want to say 22 years.
mhm.
I don't know how anybody does it, but
So I drove over the road. Most of my experience was hauling refrigerated, and I did that for about 10 years. And honestly, if I didn't have a family at home, I'd go right back to it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Some of
gonna
the
be
best times of my
hard.
life. And I started young. I got my CDL like 5 months after I turned 21, and I was gone, man. So it was quite the trip. By the time I was like 25, I had seen every state, every one of the 48 continental states, and then every border or every province of Canada that borders the U.S.
Oh wow.
So I got a shot glass from every state that I visited.
Oh, that's
I
neat.
do
That's
have
cool.
Alaska, but that's just because one of my good truck driver buddies took an Alaskan cruise and he bought me a shot glass while I was up there.
That's
So
cool.
yeah,
Yeah. My
real
dad
fun.
used to do the truck driving, and I used to ask him, "Hey, if you go to the state, could you give me a shot glass?" I don't even drink. I just wanted to collect the shot
Right.
glasses. But
Yep.
yeah, I had asked him to, and then my significant other at the time would collect them, and now those are all gone now that she's gone. So my
My
dad doesn't do
collection's
that
down to about
anymore.
half the size now, thanks to the cat.
The cat. Yeah, I got a couple of those too. You want
So
one?
I'm good.
let's move over to the iRacing world.
All right.
What got you into iRacing?
So, like most people here,
COVID.
COVID. But it wasn't for stock car racing. It was actually the trophy trucks that got me into it. And I mean, you guys are gonna laugh how I started with it, but I downloaded the free trial and I had this crappy little laptop that doesn't even have a graphics card. I mean, I think I paid $250 for this thing going into COVID, and dude, it was terrible. It was so bad. I'm playing on a PlayStation controller, but it it got me, dude. I saved for a wheel and I did a little bit more of that, and then I came across a Facebook post for a Daytona race. It was a cash money race, $100 to the winner or something like that. And I look over at my wife. I go, "Gosh, dude, this couldn't be any easier. I got this."
I
And I could
remember
not
that
have been any
race.
more wrong, man.
I
That's
think
where I
I
met
remember
Anthony.
that race.
Yep.
That's
That's
where
where
we
I
all
met
met.
Anthony and Albert, and that's ultimately what started Joe Sixpack Racing League.
That's what I was
So
gonna say because that's where I started was Joe Sixpack, and I think
yep.
that's where we kind of all met. And
Yeah.
you know,
That's I tell people all the time, like, I can't do anything on Sunday, man. I got a race, and they're like, "What are you talking about? You playing video games and shit?" And I'm like,
It's
dude,
not a race.
it's it's
It's not a game. It's a simulator.
it's the
I call
real
it whatever you
thing.
want, man. You know what? I don't go out to the bar. I don't, this is my bar night, and I've known you guys for, geez, 3-4 years now. It's you guys are like family now. So
It's crazy how fast and it's
it's wild.
gone.
Yeah, yeah. the way
So
the way my rig's upgraded. I mean, geez, I'm working on more too. So
yeah, I don't think we ever stop upgrading these
no,
things.
God no, we're never done.
So I think you've been racing here in ORL since the end of season 1 because the league you were running with at the time wasn't as cool as we are.
Yeah.
But how do you compare the community of ORL to the past leagues and communities you've been in?
So I've only really done 2 or 3 leagues. I left the first league because of the toxicity in it. To be honest with you, it got to the point where it was very unenjoyable and it almost became like a job. Um, the second league that I had joined, it was all right, but it didn't have that pop. It didn't have that luster. I didn't really care to be there every week, and I didn't look forward to it as much. But it, you guys are a great group. You guys race pretty clean. There's plenty of accountability here. It's pretty rare that someone causes something and then they try to back out of it and blame somebody else. So, which, I mean, you guys know I've had my fair share of run-ins with that.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but
Outcast is we strive teams. What team are you running for this season? Is it the
So
same team as last season?
I have been with the same team pretty much since I joined a team. It started back in Joe Sixpack when everybody was joining up for teams, and you got me and Al Reed sitting there going, "Hey man, well we both drive Chevys. You want to team up?" And it's like, I don't know who the heck you are. You don't know me, but yeah, heck with it. Let's do it. And that started Atlantic Racing. and we came up with
wow.
Atlantic because we're across the pond.
I
Old
forgot
school.
the name of that
You
team.
forgot about
Old
Atlantic,
school,
huh?
man. OG name.
Yeah, it's OG, man. And so we did a couple seasons under Atlantic with Joe Sixpack, and then it was our final season, I believe, at Joe Sixpack, where we kind of formed a super team with Mike Killingbeck and a guy named David Lamaga, and it turned out to be kind of a toxic team. But we rebranded as Elite Sim Racing at that point, and we ran one season, and we kind of disbanded, and that's kind of when me, Al, and Mike Killingbeck came over to ORL, and that was it. I took a little break for a while there, and to focus on endurance racing and road racing, and to focus on that part of Elite Sim. And now I'm back.
Yeah,
Still
you
doing the
guys.
endurance thing, but
Yep, I know you and Al like to you guys have a big event coming up after Daytona. The Hamburger
oh yeah,
Onion Ring. You guys live for that race every
oh
year.
man, oh yeah. That's we work all year for it.
How long is one lap there?
It depends who you are. I mean, for me, it's about 8 minutes and 22 seconds.
I mean, how many miles is the track?
Oh man,
One lap.
I think it's like 16.5 miles or something like that, roughly. It's
So
it's a long lap, man.
so I'm sure y'all as a team are practicing with that, but do y'all practice together a lot, or do y'all get together on stuff outside of iRacing? I know Al's across the pond, but
So yeah, we run into little time zone issues and stuff like that, but we usually try to get together for a practice, at least once a week before the race. Those guys ran a practice session this morning without me, but I was at work today, so. But usually, with as far as the oval stuff goes, we don't do a whole lot of practicing. We know each other really well, and we know each other when we get on the track. I mean, we got Cam now, Cameron Combs, Kurt. I'm still kind of learning their driving styles. I didn't run with him last year. I think Kurt kind of took my spot when I took my break. But I've done a couple practice sessions with them. We practiced Richmond. I think for the first race of the year, we did some practice together too. But like I said, for the most part, I know what Al wants to do, and Al's very, very good at communicating for the rest of the team.
that makes a difference.
It makes such a huge difference. I mean, if I had to say anything about Al, I would say he is definitely the glue that holds this team together.
And make sure you tell him to get some chocolate before he comes down to Daytona 500, because he tells me that it's different over there than it is over here.
Have you ever been to Europe?
I've never.
Dude, everything is different in Europe, man. Better.
Rob, do you have a decision yet on what's going on in February?
I'll be there.
Oh yeah.
I'll be
Well,
there.
see, now you
If I got to
tell him
drive my
bring you
ass
some
down there,
chocolate.
I will be there. Yeah, actually, this builder I'm working for now, he owes me some money, man. That's the first thing I'm buying is my plane ticket. So
There you go.
Hell yeah.
So y'all don't have to answer, or you don't have to answer if you want, but do y'all have a rival team, like another team that you're always talking about, or you just got to beat them, or something of that nature?
they got their rivals, and I've got mine, and I've got my way of handling that.
So more of a specific driver type rivals then.
I would say if anything, it will end up being a specific driver. When I came back this season, I was warned about a couple of drivers that may have it out for us just because of the team name, but I'm not going to mention any names.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I know we just got done with this Indy race, and Poor Boy Motorsports.
You sound like me.
Yeah, I can't talk. Had a 4-point lead over Elite Sim going into this Indy road course.
Yeah.
And not a single one of us are road course racers. And you guys seem to have a couple on your team. So I'm pretty sure you guys will overtake us in the team standings this week.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you gave me my GT3 Porsche, I would have smoked all you guys.
I think if we all had GT3 Porsches, we would have done a lot better.
That's what I said. I was like, we should have done this race. I get it. We're running next gens, but we should have run a different car because this track just to me was not made for those cars.
This, I mean, it's way different than Daytona Road or Watkins, even Sonoma. I mean, those courses, you got a lot more room to open it up, and you can get going fast, and you can swing a lot wider on some of the turns. You can take them a hell of a lot faster. But I also think iRacing did something with this car because, I mean, when this thing first came out, I loved it for road courses, and I would have put it up there with a GT3, and now I can't drive it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of road racing. Well, I mean, I did a little bit of road racing with you guys at the Nuremberg Ring a
Yeah,
couple
you did
years
the
ago,
24 with us.
but these cars, no. Like I
It,
can't tell you how much I dislike driving these cars on a road
dude,
course.
wait, give it a couple weeks when the Ringmaster, they're gonna have the gen or the next gens on it. That's a freaking real difficult trip to get around that track in the next gen.
What, the Nuremberg Ring?
Yep.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Is that
Oh,
gonna
it's
be on the
fun.
race on the schedule next season?
Oh, dude, you should,
Oh
man.
no.
You should.
I hate road
Um,
courses. It'd
but
only
back
be a
to what,
one lap race.
yeah, right.
I I
Back to what
hate
Brom said, though, man. I really think if we're gonna do a road course like this, we should try to swap it up a little bit. Maybe even just make it a fun run. I think
like
that'd be great.
for me, I hate road course with these kind of cars. However, like when I've run the 24 hours and we've run different cars, I've had fun with it.
Yep.
But these cars and road courses just, I mean, Watkins Glen ain't bad or maybe Daytona,
Yeah.
but
Something
uh,
tight like this, it's not made for it, man.
yeah, it's just it now. If you would have got some kind of road course car out there, I think it would have been a lot funner for
Oh
everyone.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah. But I mean,
anyways,
it was a nice challenge. With like I'm really used to driving the GT3s, and with those you got the ABS and traction control on them, whereas the stock cars you don't have that, and
yeah.
it was kind of fun to get back to the whole feather in the throttle and actually requiring a lot more skill to get around the track. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that part of it. I didn't enjoy coming in 19th, but
I don't even
Yeah.
know where I finished, but
ahead
it
of me.
was.
At the end of the race, I'm watching the laps wind down, and I'm closing in on the guy in front of me, and then I got Rob closing in on me. It's like we're gonna make a race out of this for the 17th
dude,
spot.
Dude, that whole last couple of laps, I'm going, freaking Anthony and Alan Cam dude, he let me right by, man. You don't just get up on him. I'm like, dude, no, I'm racing him for a spot, man. He's not letting me by.
No, I'll move over for the leaders, but if it's for a position, I'm racing you.
Yep. So I'm surprised your dad beat me, to be honest.
So I ended up running out of fuel like 4 stalls before my pit box, and
No.
Dad took himself off the track to come push me into my stall. So coming to the line, I gave him that position back because I did pass him. I
Okay.
did pass him for a position, but I gave him that spot back just for, hey, thanks for saving me.
That wouldn't have been much of a tow, though, would it?
They probably would have still
Fucking
given me
minute.
like a 50-second tow or something. I was right up there racing with Brum, like he was following me around until the pit stall, and
Oh, man.
I go into the pit road, and I just launched it into the fence and blew my motor.
Yeah, because I didn't even know where pit road was, and I was following him to pit road and watch him go straight in. He's like, "Go slow, go slow." But,
You gotta love that on a road course when you get somebody that's just tailing somebody and they just follow them right off the track, man. That it never gets old.
Well, he didn't follow me off. He was following the
made
track
it.
that I could tell him to slow down, but yeah.
That was that made the difference between him and I in the race. To for where I placed where I did was because he kind of had that mishap, and then I think he ran out of fuel at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
I slammed the wall and then ran out of fuel. Like I couldn't shake the car enough to get it to my stall.
Oh.
So Rob, do you run VR, correct?
Not anymore, actually. I switched over to an ultra wide.
So do you prefer the ultra wide over VR, or do you miss the VR?
I miss the VR a lot, because it was as simple as spinning your head around and you could look right out the back of the car, and you could see all around you. I mean, the spatial awareness in VR is amazing. But I ended up getting out of that because I couldn't stand not knowing what's going on around me. even though like I'm focused on the race, I can still see stuff out of my peripheral right now. I mean, you see my boy back here, like I can see if he needs something from me, and there has been times I've had to jump off track to help them out, but usually they're pretty good about it. But
So that's the same thing that happened to me back when I was at the apartment. I had the VR. I've tried it a few times, but with Jackson being so young, I have to be able to see what he's doing at all
yep,
times.
yep.
Now he's older.
Yeah, now it's a little better. It's a little easier. I could probably get away with VR again, but there's something weird about like I'm in my basement. And I got my whole setup down here, and I don't like having the VR on, and I can hear footsteps upstairs, or I mean, anybody could walk up behind me, and I don't know, so kind of creeps me out a little bit.
Have you tried VR, Brom?
I have, and what did I have? The Oculus Quest, maybe. I didn't like it because I like the immersion, or really feeling like you're driving the car. But to me, it was like the computer graphics right now versus playing on a Nintendo.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
graphics wasn't great, and then like for me or mine, when I was racing on the super speedway, I couldn't see cars far enough ahead, and if it was a big wreck or something, I had to get up on top of it before I seen it.
yeah. Yeah, and that's I haven't messed with the newer VRs. I have an Oculus Rift S. It's a few years old at this point. And for me, like the difference is I'm running about 120 frames per second on my ultra wide versus maxing out at like 70 to 80 frames on the VR. And it's like you said, it's like playing Nintendo versus a PlayStation 5. It's crazy the difference.
Yeah, it was just to me, it was kind of pixelated, and no,
Yep.
don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the feeling of like really being in there. They make another thing, I can't remember what it's called, but it like clips onto your hat,
Okay.
and you can, when you turn your head,
Yeah.
it turns.
It's a Tobii eye tracker.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I've thought about looking at that. Of course, now I have triples, but that looked kind of cool because you could still see, like
Yes.
typically, like what you're talking, but still get somewhat the VR. I
Yep.
guess there's something that hooks on the top of the computer
Dude.
and then hooks to your hat.
I mean, we all drive, our normal vehicles, and I mean, you like to use your armrest, but I can't tell you how many times I was in my VR and I went to grab the stick that wasn't there, or put my arm on an armrest that wasn't there. It's the immersion to it is freaking top notch, man. It's crazy.
How many beers have you spilt trying to grab while you're in VR?
Nah, dude, in VR, man, I use straws, and it's just between my lap. It's always where I know it's at.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean it's definitely a lot easier grabbing things when you're not in VR.
Yeah, that's
You
for
gotta have
sure.
the table.
The spatial awareness of not having VR it's it's useful.
Yeah. So is there anybody you'd like to shout out, or is there any advice you might have to somebody that wants to get into the design world or anything?
If you want to get in design, you have to just have a passion for it and just jump right in, man. It's I made it a goal this year that I was going to do something big with it, and from January 1st, I mean, I started my TikTok, and honestly, that has been the best advertising I could have ever done. Um, but jump into it and just go for it. Uh, you can do anything with a positive mental attitude. You can put your mind to it, and you can do anything. And I'm proving that to myself every day. And
Follow
I'm
your
pretty proud
dreams.
of what I've accomplished this far.
Yep. Follow your dreams.
Follow it.
Don't. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right, Rob. Well, we're glad that you're back off of your road racing break from the league, and I'm happy to see you out there. I know Dad's happy to see you out there because he
oh
missed
yeah.
you.
Yeah, you talked about a rivalry, man. Like that's the unspoken one, but it's a fun one.
And we definitely appreciate your sponsorship and your contribution to the league.
Glad I could help.
It goes a long ways, and it's definitely noticed. And for you starting up your business and jumping in and contacting Anthony, and y'all work it, like awesome. We can't thank you enough for that.
Hey, it's my pleasure, man, for everything that you guys have done. I mean, I know I was there when ORL started. Granted, I didn't make the first season or all of it, but I know how it started. I know how it came about, and to watch this league go from just the 10 drivers or so that started with it to what it is now. I mean, it's incredible, and I'm grateful that you guys are putting it on still, and you guys are great. It's fun. It's always fun.
You're definitely one of the OGs of the ORL, and all the way back to the Joe Six Pack, and well, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Where ORL is going to be over the next few years, and how far it has come from
ESPN, baby.
the beginning, yeah, from the beginning to where it is now, with websites and podcast and shirts and apparel and sponsorships, and
it's growing. It's going in the right direction, and I'm real happy to be a part of it. So,
well, we appreciate you coming out and getting on the podcast. I know it was kind of short notice, but we got through it. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Well, most of all, you guys, uh, you guys have done something great here, and like I said, dude, I'm so happy to be a part of it. But my biggest shout out has to go to Al Reed, because if it wasn't for him, I likely wouldn't even be an oval racer anymore. I wouldn't be into the road racing like I am. I wouldn't have this fantastic team that we have without him. Obviously, Kurt and Cameron, both great guys. I'm really happy that they came in when I was gone, and they kind of babied this thing and kept it going for me while I was away. And them guys are great. I'm happy to have them.
So we've had Cam on here, and now we've had you on here, and now we need you to talk to the rest of your team so we can bring the whole team on.
Dude, I would love to do a team podcast, man. That would be freaking awesome.
To try to figure out how y'all have been so successful.
Not only that,
you don't have to figure nothing out, man. It's all in the name.
Not only that, but I know there's talk about possibly you and Mr. Al Reed getting together to broadcast one of our late model races on Fridays.
Yeah, we're talking about bringing Two Drunk Guys back.
Yeah,
I think you might be able to find some of that on YouTube. The Two Drunk Guys podcast. That was a trip, dude. That was fun.
Yeah, I did ask Al if that was something he wanted to bring here to ORL, and he said he'd talk to you about it. But I know he also talked about broadcasting one of those races, so that's going to be exciting.
So we were going to broadcast the first late model that you do, for that league, but I got tied up with work and I couldn't be there, and so I don't know. I think he ended up racing in the league with you guys. So I'm definitely down to do Two Drunk Guys again, though. That was a really good time.
Yeah, well, we'll have to talk about it with Mr. Reed and see what he wants to do. But we're always looking for content, right? So let's get it done.
Let's do it.
All right, Rob.
All right, Rob. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Again, we appreciate everything that you've done with the sponsorship and helping us out. And we look forward to next week's race that is not a road course.
Now, where are we racing at? Because I don't look at the schedule till the day before.
Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's kind of like a smaller Darlington, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh boy,
I could be wrong, but that's where we're racing. So
that should be fun. I mean, why don't you just throw the Coliseum in there?
Well, I don't think our league's quite yet ready to use.
I'm just happy that you have got my language today, and I have spoke every word correctly. And you, Anthony, that today have gotten words incorrect. Thank you.
One thing I'd like to see is more road courses, though. Maybe 3 of them throughout our season, man. You got to throw Sonoma in there, and you got to have Watkins.
Well,
maybe one day there could be a league part of Outcast Racing League that's road course related.
That would be fun. I would love to be a part of that. We talked about doing that over in Joe's Six Pack. I had actually talked to Greg about starting a road league. So I'd like to see that happen.
I know there's a lot of guys that enjoy it. I am not one of those guys, but just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it's not something that can be done.
To me, it really gets fun when you're doing like the IMSA racing, when you have the GTPs out there and the GT3s and the GT4s, and you got all these different skill levels and speed levels of cars, and dude, like that's to be in a GTP and just blowing past these cars over and over and over again. It's a
But
good
that
time.
may be a way for the ORL fam that do enjoy road course racing to have like I said, Outcast racing is always growing. So
Yep, yep. Well,
Yep.
if you need a steward, let me know. I'd be happy to head it up.
A steward, is that American? We don't know what those are. We just bump. We just bump.
so
All
but
right.
again, we appreciate it. And we
Likewise, man.
will talk
Catch.
to you sometime probably during the week.
Oh, for sure.
And
We'll see
You
you on
guys
the
ain't get rid of me yet.
Sunday. Nah, ain't trying. We'll see you at Worldwide on Sunday, man.
All right, sounds
all right,
good.
man, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, so moving on from Rob here, we got so you guys know we started our Madden League. We've now made it through the preseason. We are in week 1 of the Outcast Football League, and we've got our matchups here.
Ooh,
And oh, that's not our matchups. Hang on.
that's just that's the teams.
Yeah, I think let's see. Did I put up the wrong thing? Let me look. I know myself and Corey were designated as the game of the week. I might have to pull up a new picture here.
Well, while you're kind of glancing at that, also Friday night, 6:30. I believe we're at North Wilkesboro. Is that where we're running late models this week?
Yeah, that's where the
Um,
the late models are running this week.
if you have any friends or anybody that wants to come out and run late models, try to get them out there. So we kind of grow the field a little bit there. It's
So
been a fun season so far.
there's our schedule. So the ones on the left column are all player versus player. So we've got 12 people playing each other that are in the league, and then you've got users versus the computer, and you've got 5 of those games. So it's been interesting. The game of the week, Corey and I played it last night. He absolutely stomped me. I was very bad, and so Corey's definitely going to be a force to reckon with in this league. I know a couple guys played before the race, and then they went into that race. So hopefully people didn't go in too upset with how they played the game.
Yeah, exciting week with football, and got some late models coming up, and of course racing again next Sunday.
I'm excited. I think is that all you got there, Brom?
Yeah, other than I'd like to, again, thank our sponsors, Williamsburg Contracting, Shinko's Custom Diecast, Land and Sea, and RT3 Designs, which was here tonight, Rob Tuisku. We appreciate everything you guys do for Outcast Racing League. It's gladly appreciated. And, us growing has been a big part of our sponsors. So thank you for everything you do. And that's all I've got, Anthony.
Yep, that's all I've got. I guess we will see you guys next week on the track, or this Friday.
You gonna play the rev it up on the promo video?
Oh, we're gonna play these promo videos until people see it in their sleeps.
That's right. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Later.